This is lesson 14, percent error problems. So for example 1, it's how far off our actual or exact distance. Is 15 inches. So here it says find the absolute error for the following problems. Explain the absolute error means in context. We're going to hold off on explaining what that is because I want to explain what the percent means. So for the first one, for Taylor's measurement, we have 15 and 2/8 minus 15. So if we put that in our calculators, we have the absolute value of 2/8, which is 2/8. And what that basically means is Taylor was off by 2/8 of an inch when measuring. Connor, his measurement was 15 and 4/8 of an inch. So subtracting 15, we would take the absolute value of 4/8, which is 4/8. And that means that Connor's was off by 4/8 of an inch, or by half an inch, if you simplify. Jordan's measurement was 14 and 6/8 of an inch. So if we subtract 15, we have negative 2/8. So if we take the absolute value of that, we have 2/8, which means that Jordan was off again by 2/8 of an inch. But he was short, so he was short. Taylor was actually over by his measurement. So now, when we're talking about the percentage, we have a formula. That formula is the absolute value of A minus X over the absolute value of X times 100, where A is our approximate and X is our exact numbers. So here, where it says find the percent error for Taylor's measurement, and what does that mean? Okay. Here we are going to have A then would be Taylor's number of 15 and 2/8. The exact would be 15. So when we replace that, we have A minus X over the absolute value of X times 100. So putting that in the calculator then, we would have the absolute value of 15 and 2/8 minus 15 over the absolute value of 15 times 100. So next, when we subtract that, we get the absolute value of 2/8 over 15 times 100. Or then we'd have 2/8 over 15 times 100, which then would equal 1 2/3%. So this means that Taylor's measurement of 15 2/8 of an inch has an error that is 1 2/3% of the actual value. For part B, or counter's measurement, we would have a minus x over the absolute value of x times 100. We would have 15 4/8 minus 15 over the absolute value of 15 times 100. So here we would have 4/8 absolute value over 15 times 100. So then we would have 4/8 over 15 times 100, which then would be 3 1/3%. So here that means counter's measurement of 15 4/8 of an inch has an error that is 3 1/3% of the actual value. And the third one a minus x, the absolute value, and again writing the formula, and then replacing, only this time the 14 6/8 minus 15 over that absolute value of 15 times 100. So we have that. So we would have the, negative 2/8 over 15 times 100. So we would have, let me erase that. 2/8 over 15 times 100, which would be 1 2/3%. And here this explanation would be the same as Taylor's. Now it says, what is the purpose of finding percent error? Well, the purpose of that is it tells, it tells you how big your error is compared to the true value. So next, it It says calculate the percent error for problems 1 through 3 and leave your final answer in fraction form if necessary. So in other words, we have to leave it in fraction form. So here we have a real estate agent expected 18 people to show up for an open house, but 25 attended. So our A is 18, our X is 25. So we have A minus X over that X and the 100. Write our formula down, and now we're going to replace. So we have the absolute value of 18 minus 25 over the absolute value of 25 times 100. So now when we do the math, we find that the percent error is 28%. Our next question says, in science class, Mrs. Moore's students were directed to weigh a 300-gram mass on the balance scale. Excuse me. Tina weighed the object and reported 328 grams. The A equals and the X equals. And the way that you can remember this is A is the mistake. So Tina is the one that weighed it, and she weighed the 328. The mass weighs 300. So the first thing we're going to do is write the formula. Next, we're going to replace. So here we've got 328 minus the 300, and we're going to take the absolute value of that over the absolute value of the 300 and multiply it by 100. Next, we get the absolute value of 28 over 300 times 100. So this turns into 28 over 300 times 100. Now when you put this in the calculator, make sure you put it in as a fraction times 100 so that your answer is a fraction, because remember what the question says. The question tells you to leave it in fraction form. So our fraction is 9 1/3%. That is your answer. Our next question says, Darwin's coach recorded that he had bowled 250 points out of 300 in a bowling tournament. However, the official scoreboard showed that Darwin actually bowled 225 points. So our A and our X. So he actually bowled 225, so that is the exact. His coach recorded 250. So we write our formula, and we're going to replace. Now let's do the math. Oh, sorry. I didn't replace all of it. Sorry. I wanted to use the X instead of the 225. So when we subtract this, we get 25, the absolute value of 25, over 225 times 100. So now when I multiply that, I have 25 over 225 times 100, And again, make sure you leave it as a fraction, because now when I multiply this, I'm going to get 11 1/9%. That ends our lesson.